Hello everyone and welcome back to a video. Today we're looking at set number 8615 Vahki Bordakh. I messed that up on purpose to prove a point. Alright, he has a whopping 33 pieces. Yes, 33 pieces. And he came out in the glorious year of 2004. I don't know why I'm so hyped about Mr. Vahki Bordakh. It's Vahki, by the way. I'm making a joke because it's basically just a Rakshi, but with some matte pieces thrown in. Alright. I don't have much more to say about that, so why don't we just get into the build, shall we? Alright, that was probably one of the fastest builds I've ever done. That only took 3 minutes and 13 seconds. Very fast, I know. And I spent half of that like fumbling with the head, because the head build is very bizarre. A few of you eagle-eye viewers might recognize it, or at least his skull, his face, as Biddle's skull. They just reused it and then reversed it. I think it looks very good, and I did not notice that for a pretty long time. But I respect it. I respect a good reuse of a part. And it's a fun build, but as you can see, a lot of his pieces are reused, which is kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say lazy, but surprising for this era of Bionicle. Because, like, the Toa Metru, who came out in the same year, are comprised almost entirely of new and exciting pieces. But all of the Vahki use, like, really old pieces. Like, his feet and arms are Metru pieces, and then his thighs and most of his center contraption, his abdomen, is formed from the Rakshi. Also the little Matoran that have the abs, you know, the ones. Anyway, why don't we do a quick size comparison, because as we all know, size does matter. So let's get him kind of standing up straight. My camera is glitching out. That was kind of creepy. And here he is next to Tahu. You can see he's an okay amount taller. Let me straighten him out here a little bit more. His proportions are kind of weird. All of the Vahki kind of hunch forward, which I think is fine. I think they're very creepy. And I know a bunch of rabid Bionicle fans. Rabid, I don't know why I said V. Rabid Bionicle fans are going to be like, well, actually. But all the Vahki are some of the only Bionicle characters who are like that are total machines, total androids. Most Bionicle characters are actually biomechanical. At least I believe all of the Vahki are 100% dronal, as one could say. It's a word, believe me. It's a word. It's right next to simulacrum. Alright, why don't we look at good old-fashioned articulation. He does have this very weird, I don't know, abdomen swivel. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. I actually think the Vahki have a good amount of articulation. He does have the Metru arms, so, I mean, not the Metru, the Mata. Have I been saying Metru when I've been meaning to say Mata? You can see it can go in and out pretty far, and they can go up and down incredibly far. You can do all sorts of fun stuff like that. I think it's very awesome. And, you know, almost all you really need for the arms. If I'm being 100% honest, the Vahki do pose really well. Some of my favorite figures to pose around on a shelf. His head is probably the worst place in the articulation department. He can look side to side about that much, and you can only look down a very little bit. And you gotta be careful because you're gonna bump his cheekbones, his teethies. You're gonna bump him on everything, really. His thighs can almost do a 360, and then they can splay out like nobody's business. It's like peanut butter, my man. And they can go 9 degrees in the wrong direction, his knees, that is. And he can get a really tight bend in there. And you can put him in some really cool, like, jumping poses. Why did I put him off camera? I don't know. You know, stuff like this happens. It's life. And you got the good old ankle tilt. I love that about Bionicle. And you got, you know, about 9 degrees. Not 9 degrees. Well, yeah, 9 degrees forward and back. And that's about it. You can get him into some really cool poses. Alright, no glitch in the matrix there. No edit, nothing. May or may not have already recorded the footage for this, and it got deleted. But we're going to ignore that, though. Alright, so why don't we look at his juicy action features. He has the good old Roxy just swivel. You know, pretty boring stuff. And he, of course, has the good old Kanoka disc launcher. This is the Geometry disc. And if you push down on his pincers, he will shoot. And yeah, it's just the Throwbot discs, but recolored. We're not going to break the magic, though. They're Kanoka discs. They're different. Alright. So, if you push down on the pincers here, he'll shoot them. I'll shoot the disc, and it'll look pretty cool. And you can also push them back here, and it's going to also shoot. Very nice. I think it's very fun. One of the more exciting launchers, maybe. Cool launchers, I think. And you can just make his pincers open and close if you would like. And yeah, it's glow in the dark. Lego, you know, in my eyes, always has the best glow in the dark toys ever. But this disc is so thin that you can't really tell it's glow in the dark. Kind of unfortunate. And his final feature, which is potentially the best one, is his transformation. He can transform. So if you turn his head downwards and then flip it around 180, you'll get this. So be careful. It's very easy to scrape his big meaty jowl on his shoulders. Hashtag relatable. And you're just going to flip his arms around and then kind of scrunch up his legs. You're going to want to move the Mata foot up against this weird ridge on the calves. And the calves are new. One of the only new pieces on the set. Just that's hyperbole, but it's a new mold for the Vahki. And here you have a spider. 4-legged spider. I guess that's like a half spider, like an eider, I guess. And you know, this is fun, kind of creepy. He can crawl around and, you know, shoot stuff. And it kind of looks like he has a saddle here. He doesn't have a stomach, really. So, something can ride him, I guess. And that's all I really have to say about this figure. So I'll transform him back. Originally, he did retail for $7 in the magnificent year of 2004. And adjusted for inflation, that's actually almost double that. Almost, not quite. And I gotta be honest, I think that's a little overpriced. He only has 33 pieces. And the Toa Metru, who came out the same year, have almost double that. Most of them have at least 11 more pieces. And it really shows, because the Toa Metru, I'm looking at them right now. They're all armored up and pretty, and they have all these cool accessories and weapons. And they're the same price. Kind of disappointing. I gotta be perfectly honest there. And the Vahki also, like, you could make the argument, like, oh, they have a lot of new pieces. But the Toa Metru have way more new pieces. And the Vahki are actually just kind of a mishmash of 2004 pieces with the Roxy body and Toa Metru pieces. Toamata. Excuse me. So they could be considered kind of lazy and overpriced. I think that's a valid argument. They're also boring characters, just being drones. Like, I know a couple rabid Bionicle fans are going to criticize me. They're going to say, well, actually, but, you know, they're some of the only drone characters, and they're kind of boring. So, the Vahki do have a lot of downsides, but I think they look super cool. They display super well. Pretty fun toys. Sometimes their like shoulders kind of break because there's a lot of torque there, and then the heads are kind of big and can get very scratched up. But I think they're very fun toys, and they also look really good on a shelf. They surprisingly, even though they use a lot of gray and like muted colors, they contrast each other very well on a shelf, almost better than the Toa Metru. They almost pop out more because of these huge heads that are like casted in one color, like this super vibrant orange that this man has. So they also definitely have their upsides, and not to mention their resale price is incredible. Like on Bricklink, at least, I looked on eBay today, and you know they're like $40 each, but on Bricklink you can find them for like $4 each. So I think the resale price is definitely worth it. I got all of them in a lot for about $47. So I would definitely say they're worth the resale price. Very massable, very fun, very pretty on a shelf. That's all I have to say, so peace out.